always having to come back to stuff. And yeah, just now having done that, it's like now I want to do something that's much more inward. And still get to go and fly places and, meet people and all of that. But like now it's time to turn back inward again, I guess. So it's been a very wild year, which makes me be like, okay, I want to nest now. Come back home.
Thank you, Megan. Your Cooper Hawk came back to nest, or maybe this nest's not nearby. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Ivanov. I am also a person in long-term recovery. I am coming to you from a region called Muskoka, which is about 3 hours north of Toronto in Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
And I got to say as well, I do believe that I don't know if success and failure can actually exist without each other, right? It's one of those things where I can view myself as a failure. However, how do I measure that, right? Without having successes. So for me, I believe my biggest success is actually achieving a life balance in recovery and really just finding that authenticity to know what I need and what I want, and to continue just walking through the doors that are presented to me and seeing where they're going. So it's been a pretty cool year that way, being offered different opportunities with through the coaching, through you guys, my RCPF. I'll be working with another organization. I work at a Greenstone Center for Recovery up here in Muskoka as well. I'll be doing some contract work with Still Here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. And I'm here because I don't have no idea what this is about. I'm just curious. This is just another door I'm opening up to see where it goes.
Cool, Bob. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Nitha. Good morning.
Happy holidays.
I mean, good afternoon. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Interesting question there. So I think, especially over the past 4 days, I have felt not necessarily the success, but actually that a multi-generational family can really work. The past 3 or 4 days, I had my stepson with us for the first time he's had Christmas with us in 24 years. So that was kind of a milestone. And I think what I've realized over the past few months is, I guess I perceive the fact that we've created a multi-generational household as a success. I think I failed at managing each individual relationship in the special way that it needed to be supported and managed. I think there were points where my marriage was really tough, and points where my relationship with my daughter were really tough. But I think the success coming out of that and looking positively moving forward is like 3 of the 4 people in my family are all managing their own stuff and getting professional help and seeing therapists or coaches and taking care of our relationships independently or together. I think at the beginning of the year, I had a lot of lack of confidence in myself, and I operated from a place of fear, where today I feel like I'm a bit more fearless, and I hope to carry that into the new year. And I think success for me now I don't think this is successful. I think if it's success, then I have passion and motivation to continue. That's kind of where I'm sitting today. I am full of joy, and I am so grateful for all my friends at CCAR and Megan and all the other Katrina and Sharon and people that have come in my life.
Thank you, Nitha. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves and thought on success, failure? Going once, going twice. All right. So I want you to kind of think in your head, and even if you're got your handy dandy notebook near you with a pen, maybe you just write what you think of how you define success, okay? And because the next question I have for all of us is, what is a successful recovery coaching session? See how that ties into your definition of success. You know, we talk about expectations prior on this too, and all that kind of thing. So, what is a successful recovery coaching session? And now this is when one of you like uses that little mouse or the little touchpad on your laptop and you scroll down to reactions and you click on the button and you raise your hand like two people did. All right. Thank you, Khalees, for starting off this conversation. What is a successful recovery coaching session?
So I think one, it depends like how they feel, but if there was, how they feel success, because however they feel success looks like is going to be completely different. So if we're talking about coaching, maybe we can explore what success looks like or feels like. But I think most of the time, whenever I'm coaching people, if they're like, oh yeah, like I know what to do now, or I'm going somewhere, there's movement most of the time that looks like success, maybe. Whenever I think about myself, it's kind of funny because I always do like a word of the year. And at the beginning of the year, my word was consistency. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be this person who does this every day and is like going to have their coffee at this time and that did not work out. But at the end of the year, as I reflected on what consistency meant to me, consistency meant like I got back up. Every time I got knocked down, I stood back up. I kept trying. I kept taking the next step. And so maybe success might just mean like keep showing up, engaging, keep being there. I don't know.
Yeah, use the term consistency. I got two other words like persistence and discipline and determination too, the way you described your consistency. Just as like, yeah. Cool, thank you. Kishana, good to see you. How's things in Rhode Island?
Things in Rhode Island are going well. Good to see you too, Phil. Thanks for asking.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a successful recovery coaching session?
Yes.
For me personally, I feel like it will involve a lot of active listening, trying to be open-minded and meeting the peer where they are. I kind of want to listen to them so I can kind of learn as well as I'm going along. I don't want to go in as a coach thinking I have all the answers or I can fix all their problems. So I think first and foremost, again, is actively listening to what the peer is saying and meeting them exactly where they are and helping them, along the way, assisting them whatever resources and things they may need. But we must meet them where they are. We don't know what walk of life they're coming from, where they're starting, where they're beginning. So we have to try to understand the peer as an individual instead of trying to put them in a categorized with other people. So, just individualizing that peer and getting to know that peer, meeting them where they are, understanding them and where they're coming from to try to learn from them. And then if they ask about my personal experience, they would like to hear my personal experience, then I would share with them, but always being open-minded.
Thank
so
you,
that's what I have.
Thank you, Kishana. Appreciate that. Melody, what's a successful recovery coaching session?
For me, a successful recovering coaching session is that moment where there's a breath and there's an intimacy and there's a shift in the thinking. And that shift in the thinking can create the next action. So it's, it's that sitting across and watching someone process in a way that they never processed before. And I call that the awe moment, what else? That door that opens that says, oh, okay. let's, okay. And that happens for me when there is intimacy into me, where that creating that safe space is provides, reduces the fear, increases the faith and the action. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, gotcha. So if that moment doesn't happen in a session, is that session still a success?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
just
Because,
just check it. You don't
yeah,
have to
just
explain. It
checking.
was just a yes or no question.
Okay,
Gotcha.
yes, it is.
All right. Megan, how are you?
I'm thinking, so I'm good. You
Mhm.
got me thinking.
Mhm.
So, very stumped when you said the definition of success. But then I did come up with something, which is learning something that helps me get closer to wherever I'm going, when I may or may not know where that is.
Okay.
So, I'm trying just, even in the ouch, sorry, my cat is just totally jumped on the desk and bit me. I don't know.
Well,
He didn't like that definition.
oh my gosh. That's funny.
It's wonderful to, anyways. Um, so, and then when I think about applying that to coaching, um, recovery's taught me that what may feel like a loss, right, and this sounds very like cheesy and corny and cliche, is like really just like an opportunity for growth. But it's true,
Mhm. Yeah.
so, so even the hardest things, I'm like, this is okay, because wherever I'm supposed to go, it's getting me there. And so I think about that with coaching as, a successful coaching session is, as long as something happens in that um moves us forward in some way, because I have no idea where this person's supposed to go. And so it's anything that helps them get closer. And that might be as simple as having somebody look them in the eye and give a shit for the first
Mhm.
time in a really long time. That's getting them closer to where they're going, because that's letting them know that you care. It could be something really big, like the big aha moment, and they make a decision to take some action or something. That's a very concrete way to measure that. But I think, because I don't have an agenda for what it should look like, or where we should go, or what is supposed to happen, if I come in completely open and just seek a connection, then the rest takes care of itself in terms of where we go and how that, you know, could be measured as movement, or not even movement is required, but um, I think there's no tangible, concrete things that I would say this is attached to success in a coaching session. It's simply the presence and the openness and the curiosity, and let's just see what happens. And as long as I can maintain that, something is going to happen.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You got me thinking about some things too, but I'll save it for now. Sharon.
I'd say that a successful coaching session is when the peer shows up. If they show up, we're doing good right there.
All right.
They're participating in the process of change by
Mhm.
investing in taking action and in their own recovery. And I know for myself, when I left my recovery coach's office, I wasn't sure what they did, but I knew I felt great.
All
I
right.
thought, I'm doing all of this because they were so good at motivational interviewing that I was coming up with all of the answers. I had all the great ideas, but I left feeling great and hopeful. And so I think that strength-based motivational interviewing that gives hope is the good juice.
Thank you, Sharon. Bob.
Thank you, Sharon. It's exactly right. Every coaching session in my eyes is successful when they show up. Everything else is just a bonus. right? Everything else is just a bonus. And then who am I to determine what is right and what's wrong for anyone, what's successful and what's not a success, right? I don't have a big bird's eye view of what else is going on and what else might happen down the line, what seeds might have been planted, what seeds might they have planted in themselves, which are going to bloom later on. I don't see that, right? We don't see that. So I believe just them showing up is a perfect definition of success, and everything else is just a bonus. Thanks.
So can I push back a little bit? Let me ask you a question. The question would be, um, so the person shows up, and is that a success for you or for the recovery?
Great question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a success. It's a success overall.
Because I think there's two ways to frame this, and we'll talk about this, is as the coach, what is a successful recovery coach session, right? And you kept it very simple. If the person shows up, then I consider it success. But then that doesn't really, you don't really set the expectations of yourself then is what? Because the person showed up, okay, but is that really a success? Did I fulfill my role, as a coach? And then to go to your point, I think what's successful for the recovery would vary on the recovery's perspective. So, yeah, so just think about that. You don't have to answer the question. I don't even know if there was a question in there. I was just sharing some thoughts, but anyway, Ed, what do you think?
Um, I think when I'm thinking of success, I don't, I'm going to go out on a limb. I never see success as a static a moment or achievement.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a very fluid and it's all about action. Uh, I didn't take French or Spanish in high school. I had to take Latin for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about Latin is you never learn how to speak Latin, but you certainly have a great understanding of word origination, and success
Mm-hmm.
comes from succedere, which simply means to move or to follow. And I always think for me, defining success is
Hmm.
following your goals or your hopes, and it is a constant movement towards something. And if someone shows up for a recovery, yes, I moved towards one of my goals or accomplishments. And
Mm-hmm.
does that action for my recovery now move him closer to a goal that we can create for him? When I say we create, what is his goal? What is his needs for that particular moment or day that we can work towards him achieving? So it's a moving towards or a walking to for me. And it's constant.
Got it. Thank you, Ed.
Sure.
Benita.
I'm sorry. Yes, for me, like I think everyone has been correct. For me, there is no incorrect way. And for me also, it's about showing up and not so much for me. Yes, I need to be there, but I've experienced a lot of times when they come in, maybe court ordered or something, or from the doctor or something, and they really didn't want to come, but they showed
Mm-hmm.
up anyway. So when they do, I make sure that they know that that was a big thing. That was you made a big step today. You showed up, you came when you didn't want to come. So then I try to really make them feel like they're in a safe place where they feel free to, talk about different things. I do the active listening and try to just treat them as a resource and make them feel like that they want to come back again, or that they want to work on a plan or a goal or something, and try to work along with it. And I'm a cheerleader for them. So I try to cheerlead, and that's, like I said, I think everyone is correct, but that would just be mine, is just to make sure that they felt safe and that I actively listened and cheerleaded them on whatever it is that they were trying to do, and prayerfully be able to help them move forward.
Thanks, Benita. Danny.
Hello. I think for me it's always been like four parts. First, what their engagement is during the session. Are they actively participating, asking questions, and showing genuine interest? Then after the session, you'll get a clear understanding of how they behave after. Do they ask for any more clarity or understanding? And then after that, it's are they taking the action steps in what your their newfound understanding of their approach to what that session was on, the topic that it was on, um, and then from there, I look for feedback. Are they, expressing gratitude and what they learned from that session? So I think a lot of it has to do with emphasis on their actions and understanding, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Thank you. John, you had your hand up, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like for me, I think the biggest thing is to have them come or have them leaving in a better place that they came in, right? So like coming in, with whatever it is going on and leaving feeling empowered to use the tools that they have to navigate whatever obstacles that they have kind of going on in their life. I think it varies obviously with where they're at in their recovery and what it is that they're working on, but ultimately, if they're showing up and they're leaving feeling like confident when they're going out into the world that they can navigate obstacles or they can use the tools that we talked about or we provided, I think that's a success.
Well said. Thank you. George, good to see you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here. The notion of success kind of boils down to me for the individual to feel heard, understood, and respected. And the way I know that is how the interaction affects me. And so it's as much about that mutual sense of I feel heard, understood, and respected as the other person does. And it's that mutual relationship and the mutually beneficial aspect of it that ultimately I will ask about towards the end in terms of what you like and what might make the next interaction better. But the bottom line metric du jour is, do they show up for the next appointment or the next interaction?
Oh, there you go. Where did you come up with to feel heard, understood, and respected? Is that something that's common in your training, or did you just come up with that on the spot?
No, I mean it's been part of my training literally from the very beginning.
Cool. I
And
love it.
it's a way of really acknowledging the relevance of what's going on inside. It's not about what a person does necessarily or whether they feel fixed or even feel better after the interaction. It's did the other person get me?
Yep. Feel heard, understood, and respected. Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Kevin, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Phil?
Well enough.
You're doing good. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
This is a very hard question. I know success when I see it would appear. And sometimes the success is not wrapped up in one big ball. Sometimes it's an event. And for example, I've been working with a lot of individuals that I've been coaching, and we get to these different stages as far as them needing a job or needing housing and all the different things that they need. And we accomplish that together, help them with employment, with a resume, and they start seeing results in their recovery. And then there's those individuals that I work with that got to make these really hard decisions. In other words, they'll get the job, they'll get the apartment, and then they'll come back and they'll say, hey, listen, I got warrants. I got warrants out there. I got to go and I got to right some wrongs. Some of my ripple effects from my addiction cause these type of things to go on. I ain't seen my probation officer in 2 years. I missed a court date. And if I go in and I might end up in jail, but this is something that I have to go ahead and do. And to see with the support, sometimes I'll go with them probably to courthouses, and they've had warrants for 2 or 3 years, and to stand up and say to a judge, listen, I haven't seen my probation officer and I haven't done this and I haven't done that. I'm here to turn myself in. When they hit that hard spot that can actually cause them they can make a move that can say, okay, I'm going to put you back into a facility. Now they're going to lose their job, because some of the behaviors with the people that I coach, their past can also cause them to lose what they accomplished in that moment. Okay. And so now there's another ripple effect. And
so you're talking a lot about like the whole process of success, right? What we want to focus in on is how would you know what determines a recovery coaching session? Like that one time when you meet with someone, Kevin, what does that look like? Do you have any parameters for that?
Oh, wow.
And you don't have to answer now, but we can come back to you. But that's the question.
Yeah, because that is a hard question there for me.
Okay, well, all right, let's move on.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin, though. I appreciate your perspective on, I think we all agree on what success and failure is determined by the recovery. That's another example of that. Now, so we boiled it down to the session, right? I want you to think of yourself, a lot of you are RCPs, recovery coach professionals. A lot of you are facilitators. A lot of you are making this like a job. In your eyes, in your mind, what is a successful recovery coaching career? Police.
Okay, I get really riled up about this. I'm just gonna be
Well,
straight up
I didn't
honest.
even know that this riled you up, so I'm kind of good. I pushed a button without even trying.
I'm gonna say a successful recovery coach professional career is when you combine like the heart work with the hard work. I just was saying this earlier because like I'm gonna tell you what I have seen is people who get into this and they see it as a gold mine, or they're in it for their wrong reasons, or it becomes unethical, or I can go on about all of our, like, am I in it for the money, or am I in it to save a life and really support people? Like, I love people. I love watching people change and grow into who they want to be. And that's why I do this. It's not because I'm like, I'm balling on a budget. I didn't get in it for the money. I got it because I care about people. And so we see that shift change from when they started to, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go on forever.
No, that was
But, yeah.
that you were diving down the rabbit hole, but the rabbit hole was how do you define a successful recovery coach career? So you're on the edge of
The
it. So how
heart, when
would
the
you?
heart is there, the heart is in it, and the real like purpose and meaning and genuinity is
So
there.
is that for you or others? I'm talking about you as a recovery coach professional.
Well, let me tell you, if a recovery coach doesn't got a heart, we got a problem.
Well, okay.
There needs to be a little bit of love and connection in there.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I am the question I'm going to ask is, if a recovery coach doesn't have the heart, as you're framing it, right? Can they have a successful career?
Yeah, because we see it happening. I'm not
Well,
gonna.
so then how did you define success there?
Mm.
Oh, gotcha. Megan, she bailed. Khalees bailed. I'm going there.
I am going to stir the pot.
Cool.
I'm not sure it exists currently, what I would define as a successful recovery coach career, because of systems, discrimination, lack of funding, not being valued, the model not being respected. So I think, the pipe dream sort of, that's a terrible metaphor, isn't it?
A pipe dream. Oh, wow. I never thought about that before. So, okay.
I put the pipe down 12 years ago. No. I think that what a successful career, because you attach that word career, which brings it into a different place than what
Exactly.
would be a successful recovery coach. right,
Mhm.
is different than what a successful career looks like. Um, would be that I can work true to the model and nobody's messing with me working in the model. That, you know, like our core values and all of that, that I get to stay true to those, right? That I'm compensated for what I'm actually worth. And you know, we could spend days debating what what
Mhm.
we're worth, but that we're compensated well, that I feel like I work hard and I get compensated in a way that gives me security and, you know, all of that. That there's plenty of room for advancement, that I'm not just doing the same thing forever, because there's this ceiling that we currently have.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
I
Oh.
can go ahead.
I think many professions, I don't know what advancement means in the recovery coach, because usually advancement is taking on like you start to supervise people, right? In most careers, and that's considered. But when you look at like a skilled oncologist, for example, they help people their whole lives in a field where they can grow and evolve. And I think you could do that in the recovery coach world. But anyway, that was my thought.
No, I
Mhm.
agree with you that, you know, there's a difference between like advancing and evolving and growing in my
Yeah.
craft. And
Hmm.
the cat is back biting me again,
It doesn't want you to
just
talk.
when I speak. Um, you know, that I'm allowed to grow, have space to grow,
Hmm.
evolve, get refine, experiment, you know, that there's that I'm not just locked into a limited role. Um, and so of course, you know, at the end of the day, I want to have great impact. Um,
Hmm.
I'm in this because I love people and I don't want them to suffer and I want them to have the quality of life they want. Um, or even beyond that, because maybe they don't envision it for themselves. But I feel like, as someone who's been a coach for 9 years, um, and moved away from direct care and into, you know, training and all this other stuff, um, I don't see a way for me to just be, and not that's not necessarily what I want, anyways, to be a coach forever. Um,
Okay.
because of the limitations that the external stuff puts on it, I guess, because we're not valued and honored and all of those wonderful things
Gotcha.
enough. So the advocacy piece is
All
needed.
right. Thank you, Stefan. Sorry. Stefan. Mr. White.
Greetings. That's okay. I face that same dilemma over here where I am now. I'm Stefan, and the rest of my life I'm Steven, and
Mhm.
but that's okay. It all melds together for me.
Gotcha.
So
Hmm.
so I'm just kind of grateful. A successful career. Wow, what a powerful question, right? A
Hmm.
successful recovery coach career, I think is how you phrase that, right?
Hmm.
Um, so, I like what Megan was sharing, and the gentleman who talked about heard, understood, and respected, which really spoke to me, because I think for me, right, as I reflect upon what it means to have a successful recovery coach career, um, that in that spirit of people being heard and understood and respected and valued. I think that for me, those are the things that are very fundamental to having a successful recovery coach career. Um, and for me, right, to think about a successful recovery coach career, which means that, to Megan's point a little bit, that it allows, not a little bit, more than a little bit, that it allows for growth and evolution, um, and it provides some degree of stability financially, for me. And I think that, um, again, just in that spirit of seeing people, right? I reflect upon this principle of Salbona, which I probably offered before, which is a Zulu greeting, which means that, that I see you. And not only that I see you, that we see you, the ancestors see you, and that you are valued, appreciated, and honored, and we recognize that our destinies are intertwined. And I think for me, when I reflect upon that principle and how that connects to being a successful recovery coach, that I see people, I am seen, I am valued, I'm appreciated, I evolve, I grow, and the day-to-day things of financial stability and and those type of things are part and parcel of, for me, what it means to have a successful recovery coach career. So that's how I think about it. And I also, again, tapping into CCAR's philosophy with the stool, right? Like, I think, all of those elements, right, are part and parcel of being successful for me as a recovery coach. The listening, the discovering and managing, right, asking good questions, and really valuing the people, the broader people, not just the recoveries and the participants, but the organizations, the agencies, the people that I will have an opportunity to interact with in my career as a coach. So I
Great.
think that informs it for me as well.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you guys are throwing these 3 words together. George threw out heard, understood, and respected, and you just put out 3 they align so well: valued, appreciated, and honored, which kind of kicks it up a notch. So I love that as well. So thank you. Bob.
Yes. So the term career actually, for me, implies longevity. And in order for me to have longevity in something, I need to be able to, first of all, maintain my integrity, learn how to not take on other people's things and actually stay well myself. Because as we all know, I mean, people in our field, it's a huge burnout rate, right? So to be successful in this field, for me, I need to be able to look after myself first, and so that I can be there for other people and to be able to create that space for them for that growth that can happen in them. I'm not, I can argue both ways in terms of the money and the finances. However, to be a success, me being looked after as well, and just, I agree with so many other people in this room. I get so much joy when I see other people succeed. I'll cry watching the cooking show, for crying out loud. It's just ridiculous, right? But I love to see that growth in people. I love to see their dreams be fulfilled. So for me, a success would be to be able to continue that, without burning out myself.
Thank you, Bob. Melody.
Hi, okay. Career. I love that word, career. What is a successful recovery coaching career? My path was the curiosity of how this differed from sponsoring, and then having the education to move into. So what's happened for me in 3.5 years is that I went from a part-time, let's dip your feet in the water, to now I'm swimming in the ocean. And what's interesting to me is that the value that this company that hired me, they chased me. They created a role for me. I am helping them write a program that they that they can implement. I can sit with a bunch of clinicians and be like listening and just create a tsunami of change because of the way I hear the information. So what Megan said is, I am valued, I am compensated, and I work hard. And what happened for me recently is I had to learn how to advocate for myself. What hours I wanted to work, how much I wanted to be compensated, what kind of perks that they were bringing to the table. And it's the first time that I'm working with a team, and I'm enjoying that collaborative kind of new opportunity that's presented to me. So since I view it as a career and I view it as an opportunity, I need to be able to advocate for what I want and need, and to also advance. So that's my answer.
Thank you. Danny.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Great topic. Great answers. A couple of things I'm going to go off of or piggyback off of Stephen / Stefan. So I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with, your clients and how they reach their goal. Are they reaching their goals? Are they, experience personal and professional growth? And very importantly is your reputation amongst your peers and the recommendations you get from them. And then also, your personal fulfillment. Uh, do you have I call it the alarm effect, or the not having to have an alarm. You're waking up, you're excited to go to work and really enjoy being a coach. And, then of course the personal, this is where I'll piggyback off of him, was just honing in on your skills and being at the level or getting financial stability of being at that, getting compensated for the level of expertise you're at. And of course, I always say that any returning clients that you get, that shows that they trust you and that they believe in you. And so I think ultimately, though, those factors play a major role in determining how successful you are in your career. I don't think I can say that I'm successful. I think it's something that is outside, just outside measures, or that outside.
It's a
that,
title that's bestowed upon you by others. He's successful.
There you go. You said it better than I did. I was stumbling on that, but yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about that a little bit in the Advanced Academy, like the concept of mastery. Is that something you believe of yourself, or that somebody else gives you that title? That you are a master of recovery coaching. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you use the same thing for success, though. So someone else will determine if you're successful. Just a question. I'll just leave it out there.
No. I mean, for without a doubt, not sounding self-centered or anything like that at all, but I feel as though I'm going to be successful for what I put in, and whatever I put in, I'm hoping that it's going to be that kind of quality, that kind of value that my clients will get. And then what they do with that information and moving forward by their actions, that really determines on your success.
Gotcha. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for that. Thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Kevin, your hand's up. Did you want to add to this?
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things. I don't, because success seems to me that's putting together some numbers and everything. I think for me, success is when, and it happens in these moments, when the peer doesn't need me no more.
All right.
When I have actually did a job and I played myself out of the job. And I mean, there was success. They got their life together. They're holding on to their recovery. Because I'm in recovery, each day that I wake up and I'm doing what I do and I'm taking care of my business, that is a success in recovery. Now, as the career, and taking my life experience, and individuals are having success through some of my life experiences and questions are getting answered. If I'm playing myself out of a job because they're growing by leaps and bounds and having a life, and they're getting their lives and families restored to them, and that's due to the coaching and some of the work that I put in, then that's a successful career, whether it happens one time or 50 times. You understand? You know the tree by the fruit it bear, you
Well
know?
said. I
And
appreciate that.
I think that's where I see success, on how many people's I contribute or have some type of contribution in their life to their success.
Got it. Thank you. Megan, you can make yourself redundant.
Yeah. No, this is a whole brand new thought.
Okay, good. All right, good.
No, thank you for giving me the space to add one more thing. Because I listen, right? And then I'm like, oh, right. So I just had one of those for myself of realizing that for me, success with recovery coaching perhaps is that I use it in all aspects of my work. So I have a business that does theater, storytelling, education, training, I work in all these different domains, and prevention through all the way to treatment and recovery and everything. And recovery coaching is the absolute foundation of everything that I do. Like it gets me emotional. It's how it's how I facilitate. It's how I treat every single person who's in any workshop or audience or anything that I'm doing. It's the whole foundation of how I do business. Like it's my business philosophy. So I think successful recovery coaching for me is how I implement it in everything that I do, and it's how I treat people. And when I treat people with that, from that set of core values, that's the beautiful ripple of recovery coaching.
Thank you. I always say it's when I'm training the academy or the advanced academy, that recovery coaching is a way to be in the world. It's just a way of living, a way of existing. Neetha.
So I kind of thought what you and Megan have just said was it. Like everything for me in a successful recovery coaching career starts with that recovery coaching philosophy. And what sits beside that is doing the right thing, respect, integrity, gratitude, honesty, and transparency. Then from that, what is a successful career for me is when I have a space where I can continue my personal and professional development, where I'm financially stable for my family, where I build mutually beneficial relationships that make everybody feel equal and valued, and where I make an impact and a positive impact, or contribute positively for change or hope, or just in one person's life. And I think the ability to grow and develop and innovate allow me to continue, and that leads to that thing of then success is not a destination. It is just all of that stuff helps me have the passion and the momentum and the motivation to keep going. And when I keep going, that is a successful career.
Okay. Thank you. Ed.
Thanks, Phil. I don't want to sound funny, but I have been so much enjoying this conversation this morning. And for me personally, this has been successful. I think I also kept thinking about the phrase, you are in recovery when you say you are. Does that mean that I am in success if I say I'm in success? Because how do you measure success other than the fact that I have a goal or something that I'm working towards? Who else would know that but myself? And do we look at success from the recovery industry perspective, from the recovery coach? I mean, there's multiple ways of looking and measuring, and everyone has a yardstick to measure by, but we all have different yardsticks. So this discussion has just opened so many directions for me, and I've greatly appreciated just stepping
you're
back,
welcome.
looking at different successes. So thanks.
Yep. One more, and then I have the last question that's kind of like has blown my mind lately, so I can't wait to ask you guys. So Donna, what's a successful recovery coach career?
Thank you, Phil. A successful recovery coach career is sticking to the fiduciary, the integrity of the program. And that means a lot to me. I learned that throughout my training. I've heard it before, but I never really understood it until it meant something to me. And it means something to me, becoming a facilitator of CCAR, upholding the values, building community around it, um, and the fruit that's born from it. So we're keeping it alive. So yes, I heard you say persons change careers, and some people did other things. So now it's time to bear new fruit. So
Mhm.
coming back to the table to see, okay, what can we do to add to it? No, let's just get more committed people to keep it the integrity of initially what uh, CCAR was built around
Mhm.
and passionate about, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm really passionate about it, and I know I'm going to be successful. Success comes with the ups and downs. So being
Mhm.
able to manage my own stuff and embrace it and learning to use it as a measuring stick and grow from it and just allow people to just recover and what that looks like for them and support them no matter what. So I'm not being biased with my own personal NA. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna
Thank
stop
you.
right there because I've been listening a lot and I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm
good.
I'm I'm, I'm filled up over here, so I'm gonna
All right.
shut it down. Yeah, you get the
Thank you,
gist.
Donna. So here's another question. This isn't the big question. This is just another question. Um, if you look at your own career, have you had a successful recovery coach career to this point? So, would you say you've had a successful recovery coach career to this point? And that's just a question for you to ponder. The answer for me is definitely yes. So, in over the last several months, I've had some GI issues for like 2 years. In the last couple months, they've really escalated to where December 4th, they had to cut out 2 pieces of my small intestine, that were obstructed. And they took a look at one of the pieces that was a mass. And I am a cancer survivor, stage 4 cancer survivor in 2010. And they sent that mass out, and I got diagnosed with a new cancer. So I have an opportunity to like um, be a 2-time survivor, and it's a lymphoma. We still have we have the type of lymphoma, and it looks like it's treatable and all that kind of stuff. So I got an appointment early next year to figure out what's going on. So they're not like real urgent to see me about it. So if they're not that concerned, I'm not that concerned. But I'm always optimistic anyway. But this got me to contemplating this idea of success, right? I guess people see it, to go to Danny's point, that to have an honor bestowed upon you, like a distinguished lifetime achievement award, I guess people would say that's successful. But what are the components of success? Is it your influence? Uh, a lot of times in the United States, it's also the money you're able to like earn, and the things you get to buy is a measure of success. Like, what's your retirement look like? Are you going to be retire in a good way? So there's a lot of material things associated with success. There's personal fulfillment, some people might emphasize. So we all have different priorities of what we deem success to be, right? Some it is all money. The more money I make, the more successful I am, period, right? Some people are the other way. The more self-fulfilled I am, the more successful I am. And a lot of us are just a balance. And it's also how we are of service to others and whether our service is effective. Some people measure it that way as well. So, and I've heard all of that from all of you. Those are just different components. but this is about our career. So when you get diagnosed and I mean, you go under the knife, you get diagnosed, you start thinking about your own mortality. And some of us know that my parents both passed away within, divorced 40 years, died within 48 hours of each other, like 2.5 years ago. So that's still been rattling my cage all this time. What is a successful life? That's your simple question that I would love to hear some answers from. Bob.
That's a huge, the golden question, right, Phil? It would be depending on anybody. I'm sure we all have our own definition of that. However, you know, I just imagine myself on my deathbed. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be thinking about, man, I should have worked more overtime, or or I wish I bought that Buick. I'm pretty sure it'll be, I wish I was kinder to that person. I wish I was. So success for me is, am I being true to myself? Am I fulfilled in the way that I am touching the people that are important to me in my life, and everybody who's in my life, in a way that is kind and tolerant and accepting, and with patience, with love, right? Like, when I go into a situation, I often ask myself this question: what would love do? And it changes how I approach that person, So for me, that is success. When I can get out of my own way, I'm usually pretty successful. So that's my definition anyways.
Thank you. Danny. Mute.
That would help. I love this question. I think it really comes down, for me, it comes down to the level of happiness that I'm at. Did I reach and maximize my true, full, authentic potential? Did I reach my happiness that I ultimately wanted to get to? And am I rid of any regrets, any resentments that I had? Did I process them and buried them before I reached my grave? And the legacy that I left for others to carry on for generations, did I meet that? And I think once I accomplish those three things, then I'll know that I've reached that level of life success.
Thank you. Stefan.
Yeah, having trouble finding the mute button. And what a powerful question. I'm almost at a loss for words and reflecting upon it almost. And for me, I think in very, very simple terms, have I kept a song in my heart, right? Do I bring a song to people? Have I been able to continue to dance, right? And have people danced and rejoiced at times in my presence? Have I continued to be enchanted by life, right? And all the people in it. And at the end, will I be okay to sit in silence? So that's kind of how I'm thinking about that.
That's pretty dang deep. So I love it. Thank you. Ed.
I don't know the answer to this question, but I would hope that I would define a successful life as a person who has reached a stage of their life in which they have been successful to this point, because I define success as constantly following their life goal. And someone who has had a successful life, I learned from my sister, is one who is ready to take a new adventure, to travel anew to a new point in their life, without success, without regret, without disappointment. So it's all about a new start.
Thank you. Megan.
I think it's just, have I lived out my values as fully as I am able? Like, has my impact on the world been the most fruitious is not a word, but have I
Got it.
brought to fruition
It is
my
now.
value and impacted the world according to and myself according to my values.
Okay. Sharon.
Being in recovery is such an amazing experience to go from a place of complete hopelessness, full of regret and remorse and shame, and then having that all turned into my greatest asset, and to learn to live a life that's one whole day at a time, to be in this moment and experience it, and to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and clean up any mess as I go along, and to just have one whole day at a time so that I don't wake up smacked in the face with fear and resentment and shame.
Thank you. Melody.
All right, Phil, you coming up on that 36 turn.
Yeah.
You're, turning on that. For me, a successful life is absolutely feeling the unity and harmony of my higher power. Having a roadmap of compassion and forgiveness and non-judgment to practice the principles and the spiritual foundation. For me, it is very much spiritual. It is very much connected to what I cannot see, but what I create and experience. And I can only do that with others if I have done it with myself. So it is definitely in the ethos, and gives me that exhale. As I'm in my third act of my life, I am acutely aware that I love being curious.
Mm-hmm.
I love being curious. And like what's HP going to give me today that I'm going to learn from? Thank you.
Thank you. Khalees.
Just throwing out a little question there, huh, Phil?
A little
No
one.
biggie. A little one.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I think about, I guess I wrote down a couple things like coming home, like it's like knowing like what love and light and like calm and peace and harmony and all of that stuff. And I'd written in my journal a couple days, like my role in life is to bring the light and love of my own soul into the dim places around me. And whenever, I get old, or one day, my mom keeps saying I'm bumping 30, so I'm not gonna say anything there. But like, did I love enough? Did I share the light? Did I try to bring peace into those places? Did I do that? And that's what I think is like progress.
Okay. Gotcha. So, I've been thinking about this question for a while, and sometimes you just run across things, and when you're in the scrolling mode, I don't know if any of you ever get in the scrolling mode and you just hit a meme or something that you go, what? Wow, that's makes you actually pause. So I actually looked at a couple internet sources, and it says this is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. So, and the quote is around success for him is this, and I'll read it a couple times and we'll close with that. But it's to laugh often and much. I've heard that from a few of you. To win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children. to earn the appreciation of honest critics, and endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty, to find the best in others. Sounds like recovery coaching in a lot of ways. To leave the world a bit better, whether by a garden patch or a redeemed social condition. I know, he's so brilliant. He makes it, I just love it. And to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. So I'll just say that real quick one more time. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics, and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a garden patch or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Any thoughts? Closing thoughts? Thank you, everybody. Good to see you. See you next time.